Okay. Okay, here is my speaker one sheet that I did in Canva. So I have my bio right here, a few things about me, and then my keynote points about it. And this is an actual keynote that I am giving next month to all the WIC employees in Utah County. And then I have 2 testimonials here from Connie and Wendy, and then my contact information and highlights of where I spoke at. So that's my speaker one sheet. And then next, I'm going to share with you my points in my keynote, which my keynote is called The Ultimate Self-Care, actually setting a goal for yourself, because the theme of this conference that I'm going to is self-care. And my points are, I'm going to teach the women the importance of writing a goal, and they're going to write one with me the correct way. And then we're going to talk about the habits to fulfill that goal and to have self-compassion when things don't go according to plan. And then we're going to wrap up with the big ask and the big action that I want them to take next. So the first 5 minutes that I'm going to share, I want to share the very beginning of my keynote and share my hook and how I'm going to start. And hi, girls, can you go outside for a second? Yeah. Yeah, just for 5 minutes. Yeah, just for a few minutes. Okay. Okay. So this is the very beginning of my keynote. Okay, thank you so much for having me. It is an absolute treat for me to be here today. Now, I know we all just had lunch, and raise your hand if sometimes that post-eating coma sets in. So I just want to invite you all to stand with me for 30 seconds. We're going to kick this off by getting in the right frame of mind for some self-care. So legs shoulder width apart, hands on hips. Now let's go ahead and straighten your posture and take one deep breath with me in and out. And now just one more breath. Thank you. Just by changing your posture, your body language, and breathing, it's been proven to lower the cortisol, the stress-inducing hormone in your brain, and it increases testosterone. It's even proven to, has been proven to, in several studies, to improve your overall mood. So I hope you're in a good place to get some self-care and to take care of yourself today. You can go ahead and have a seat. Okay, I'm going to now say one word. When I say this one word, I want you to think of the words that come to mind. Self-care. What words come to mind? Just shout them out. And you guys don't have to shout them out right now. So everything you have mentioned is indeed self-care, and heaven knows we can't live without, and then I'm going to repeat back some things that they said. But there is a deeper form of self-care that I've come to talk to you about today. This deeper level of self-care will increase your health, your job performance, and your relationships. A study was done by the Harvard Business School, and this particular form of self-care makes you 10 times more successful than those who don't practice it. A psychology study found that this type of self-care is linked with self-confidence, motivation, and autonomy. Raise your hand if you would like to know what that is. This type of self-care is purpose-driven goal setting. When our goals are linked to a deeper purpose, we actually move to make improvements in our work, in our health, and in our relationships. When those things suffer, everything else suffers. Have you ever had one of those areas suffer? Your health or your relationships or your job performance? Does it affect everything else? It does. They all seem to bleed together. But purpose-driven goal setting is a signature solution to help you have more success. But how many of you, when you hear the words goal setting, want to run for the hills? Because you've been there, you've set the goals, you've tried and you failed, or maybe you've set them at the beginning of the year only to fall off the bandwagon by March or April. Or maybe it just frankly doesn't interest you. Well, I've been there many times, and rest assured that this time that we have together is going to be a painless process. I have some incredible tips and research that I've done to help you with this special kind of self-care today. But I have one request for the time we have together. I'm going to ask you to be bold. And can you do something for me? Sometimes as women, we fill everybody's cup before we fill our own. And pretty soon we find that we have nothing left to pour. So here's my request. For the next several minutes we have together, I want you to think about you and filling your cup of purpose-driven goals that will improve your quality of life. Can you do that for me? So that's my beginning. And then I'll lead with the story right after. Oh, I can't hear you, Connie.
Almost a minute early. Oh my gosh,
Sorry.
so good. And then what's your next right step want to do. And then we're all going to share. You can share in the chat, you guys, things that you liked about what she did. I'm going to share a little love, some thoughts, and a little love about her specifically. So
and then I lead right into a story. So I will have a story right at the beginning. My next thing was a story, but that would have taken longer than my 5 minutes.
That's perfect. So, you don't always have to start with the story. You started with the signature why. And that was great. It was a hook and I'll just jump in where you had movement. I love the one word. That was a great question to get them thinking connected. You gave them the deeper level of self-care, which was the signature why. You gave good proof. It's 10 times more. You want to know what this word is, a la Wendy Nelson. So good. Then that signature solution, you said the word signature solution. And then I've got today for you a painless process. I've researched tips and tools, and I'm going to share them with you. And then I have one request. You're continually engaging and keeping us hands up, movement, whatever. So good. So good.
Thank you so much. So my next step is I'm going to share this keynote in next week, and then I need to memorize it because I do not have it memorized. And then after that, I told Connie this is my next big thing that my husband and I are going to get together. I'm experimenting with this keynote and turning it into a mountain analogy. And I'm creating a necklace that will have a little mountain on it. Like it'll be a circle shaped necklace, but with a mountain imprint on it. So that when they wear that necklace, they'll remember to work on going after their one summit and summiting their one goal. So that's something that I'm going to have along with this keynote. And I share a mountain story about a guy who climbed the Dawn Wall in California and had never been done before. And I'm adding that into this keynote because I'm kind of starting to shape what that keynote looks like. So that's my next step is this keynote and then getting the necklace here.
Love, absolutely love, love, love. Go ahead and put your comments in the chat. So great. Loved it. And one thing that I have seen you, I'm going to go and share one thing that I have seen, lots of things, but one thing that I have seen you really through this 12-week experience really gain is this power in your speaking. This confidence and clarity that's more than energy. You can have an energetic speaker, but it's very focused, channeled, it's clear, and it's specific, and that makes it powerful. So great job. All right, beautiful. Okay, wait. Yes, I hear you.
I am going to go and switch out and get in my car. So I'm going to jump on my phone. And so I'm going to go out and come back in, just so you know.
Okay, so while you're walking off, everyone, give them a loud. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, that was back to like of being sitting in high stretch for like 5 hours and exhausted. And you stop. Okay, I'm just trying to stop the music after you start. Okay, go ahead. All right, you are officially a graduate and graduated. Congratulations, nice job. And just so you know, every one of you, I only had printed off the one to show you as an example. When she's not the favorite, just so you know, because she has a certificate here, but Lamira's going to send you each your own certificate and a $50 Amazon gift card just to say congratulations. So go enjoy, go to dinner, go grab something fun for your next step, whatever. All right, love you. Great job. All right, next up we have sweet Wendy Christensen.
Okay, Ashley, you're a hard act to follow. Okay, let me share my screen. And I actually realized I need to tweak something from looking at hers. I don't have where I've spoken at on mine. So I've got my bio, speaking topics, and then I've got my 2 testimonials. So, but I realized
add those logos and you will be set. And even I encourage everyone, keep your bio as short as possible. I know that we've worked on yours, Wendy, to try to keep it as short as possible. Another thing you can do is bold specific things that would be good for an eye to draw to. So maybe 3 bold things of like suicide prevention and something else and something else. So people can just go.
Okay. Okay, my keynote, you kind of already heard it a little bit, a lot of you, but it's called Lord, How Oft Should I Forgive? 3 Daily Ways to Access the Savior's Healing Power of the Atonement, Releasing, Renewing, and Restoring. And it's centered around a lot around releasing our pain through the steps of forgiveness, renewing hope through action steps to move forward, and then restoring our light through the acts of gratitude. So I actually haven't presented this part today because I don't do very well at presenting my offering. So that was what I wanted to practice and do and share today, was my offering. So I'm going to come in, I'm not going to come in from the beginning. So I come in with teaching my first step, which is the steps to forgiveness. And then after I've taught the steps to forgiveness, I wanted to, because it's pretty big as far as it takes me a while to teach those steps to forgiveness. Sorry, I've got something in my throat this morning. But after I teach those steps to forgiveness is when I want to come in and offer and talk about, especially a retreat. So that's kind of where I want to come in my keynote. So we're going to pretend like I've just taught those steps to forgiveness. We've had an experiential where they've been able to write something down about their steps to forgiveness. And then I want to come in. Okay, now that you have understood and you have been able to find somebody that you need to forgive, I want to share a quick experience of a sweet woman that came to my retreat, my last retreat. There was a time right after we had taught the steps to forgiveness, and we had an opportunity to just go and ponder and think about the things that we had just learned. We all had some time for ourselves. Some women went hiking, some women just sat and talked, some women went and took a nap because that's what they needed to do. And I noticed this particular woman went downstairs off to herself, and she was playing pool all by herself. And I thought that was really interesting. So I went down to check on her. And as I did, she had some tears and she said, "I shouldn't be here. I don't know why I'm here. Wendy, I need to go home. I don't even know why I'm here." And I thought, okay, let's go talk for a minute. So we sat down and we talked about our steps to forgiveness and what was holding her back. And she had lost her husband about 7 years previously. And she was really struggling with her grief and just how she could get past that. And she didn't feel like she was connecting with the women here because her situation was so different. As we talked and I allowed her to practice those steps to forgiveness, I saw a beautiful thing. She began healing. She began opening up to the things that she needed to see in her life. And then the most beautiful part is later that night, after we had been together, she was able to go and she's not one that shares with women, but she started opening up with this group of women and she started sharing. And all of a sudden she paused and she looked over at this picture wall. And on this picture wall, she saw a framed quote that said, "The mountains are calling, I must go." And all of a sudden she just started bawling and just crying. And we were all like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And she said, "I have looked at that picture wall all day long and I have not noticed that quote." That was a quote my husband and I said every single day. "The mountains are calling and I must go." She felt so loved and so open and healed because of the experience of forgiving that she had had, that she finally saw the quote on the wall that she hadn't even noticed. And she'd been there a day and a half already. And she knew at that moment that it was a sign that her husband was there, that he was with her, he was watching over her. And it was such a powerful experience. And we women were able to gather around her and give her love and give her hugs. And it was such a healing and wonderful experience. She's since come back and said, "I still don't know to this day how I didn't see that quote, but it was because her heart opened up and she was open to the healing that she had received from the forgiveness." I love these beautiful experiences from this retreat, and I'm so excited because I have another one coming up this fall. I would love to have you join me. You can jump on my website and find the information around it. It was a beautiful, wonderful experience. I'm so excited now to talk to you about the next step after we have let go and we've forgiven, moving into those action steps. That's where this lady was moving now. She was moving into the action steps of moving forward, letting her heart heal, and opening up now to possibilities. She even said that she might be open to dating. It was such an exciting moment. That's the power of forgiveness and what it can do. Now let's move into what are some of the action steps that we can take to move into renewing our hope. There you go. As far as Huh?
A minute early. Like, you ladies are rocking this and you are on point. And this is one thing, as I was writing things that I love about what each of you have learned, and I've watched you for these 12 weeks, I kept coming back to these words: clarity, confidence. There is a directness in what you're doing and where you're taking us. It's so, so good. I loved that you started with that story and then showed different options. I don't enjoy when a speaker's speaking and then it's just, there's just one answer to the question that you're saying. There's just one way to go about it, right? But I love that you said they went off here and she went off here, but she went down, and then showed that you were watching the one. This is so important for us listening to trust you. So it's showing that you went and followed and then worked with her, and then that breakthrough. What we look for is the goosebump moment, something that, and if you can even get a gasp moment where the people really felt what you were experiencing in that moment, and you can tell they either get, not I get goosebumps, but they get some kind of reaction. But if there's a gasp, if there's a, oh my gosh, there's this understanding of they were right there with you. And that's exactly what just happened for me. It happened with Ashley's when she said, you have nothing left to pour. And I got goosebumps, and that, that's it. I resonate. So beautiful. Those resonant moments are so key. Absolutely lovely. Go ahead and put in the chat the things that you loved about what she did. I have to tell you, that is something I have seen from the beginning. I notice now you are confident. You don't kind of sink back in, and your softness doesn't get soft. Your softness has power to it. There's a power behind it that feels like she knows what she's talking about and she knows what she's doing. So, so good. Love, love, loved. Oh, what's your next step? What you're doing?
I'm preparing for my next retreat. So I'm getting several keynotes, I guess you could say, the main keynote, but the several things that I'm going to be presenting, I'm getting them ready and how to present them and putting power slides and things together with them.
I love. And one thing that, if I could offer this, just since we're recording this and everyone's here on that offer, one thing that I would encourage is if you could, when you're sharing, you did a great job sharing and went right from the story that related to your retreat. So if you're going to offer a retreat story before it, right? If you're going to offer an opt-in, offer a story that shares how someone used that opt-in, and then share the opt-in so that they're connected, it tethers. So you did a great job with that. One thing I would suggest is, if you are desiring or feeling the desire for a breakthrough like that, you can feel that something's holding you back, always go with the outcome of where they're feeling. So if you're wanting, then I would encourage you to check out the retreat. And while you're doing this, pop the slide behind you with a retreat picture and the QR code so they can take it right there. And since you're only going to just give them a quick touch point, and then you're going to say, I will come back to this later because I want to continue with what we're doing. But if it's something you're interested in, you can check out that QR code, and I've got information and a free call if you want to find out more about it. And while you're talking, that QR code is sitting behind you so that people can do it right there if they want. And you've already told them, I will come back to this later on. And then at the end, you come back to, as I mentioned before, I'm coming back to that retreat. As I've talked about, I teach all these principles at the retreat and many more with wonderful other blah, blah, blah. If you're interested in doing that, here's the QR code. You're welcome to check that out or talk with me afterwards. Boom. Nice. Okay, beautiful job. All right, Wendy Jones, you're up. And go ahead and keep putting stuff in the chat if you wanted to share anything about what she did. So good. Wendy Jones.
Okay, I will caveat is you're on my phone, not my computer. So I will have to show you my one sheet with my camera.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine.
Is that fine? Okay, let me get into it really quick. And I meant to send this to Connie too, but oh my gosh, it has just been, we're swimming around here. We're swimming.
And we've seen one before of yours, so we know that you have it. So it's not, yeah.
But I did do some tweaking this week in preparation for today. Hang on, let's see. Can I change? I don't think I can turn you guys around. Oh, maybe I can. Hang on. There you go. All right, here's my speaker one sheet. I've got my logos on there now. And then I've got a testimonial from someone that was in that Relief Society group when I spoke to 250 women. It says, Wendy eloquently captivated us with her personal experiences and hope for the future. She made it look easy, and I know that she was in her element by helping other women see potential in themselves. The night went too quickly. We could have listened to her speak all night.
Love, love, love. And if you ever have to shorten that testimonial, I would do like, we could have listened to her all night. That would be your main sentence. You'd want to keep just one other sentence, but that main sentence, if you need to shorten it at all.
Okay. That sounds good. Sorry.
Love.
Okay. So, I'm not prepared. I don't know about you artists, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even think right now. I'm currently working on a new keynote that will be for non-denominational, and anybody. So our next recipient I actually just announced it in the newsletter that went out last night. Did you see that? Yeah. This woman is amazing. I'll quickly tell you her story as if I'm giving a keynote. So yes. I would like to introduce you to Amber Jackson. She is a darling mother of 4 and is married to the most amazing man named Tim. Amber was married previously, and they had 2 children together. She had her first is Down syndrome, and then she had a little baby. Her husband, being overwhelmed with the situation, decided that he couldn't handle this kind of lifestyle, and so they divorced. A year or 2 later, they remarried, and they really were striving to make things work with these 2 little boys because they were doing it for the boys. Unfortunately, his infidelity ended their marriage, and she found herself a single mom. She put herself through nursing school, and so that she could be able to provide for these 2 little boys. There, she was able to, at the hospital she was working at, she was able to meet another male nurse who had never been married, and they were quickly set up, and they fell in love, and he has become the love of her life. They were later sealed in the temple, and they have had 2 children together. Just 9 months ago, Tim was diagnosed with glioblastoma, and it is stage 4, and he is on the last moments of his life. They are living each day to the fullest, trying to soak up every moment that they have together before he passes. I believe that this woman is one of the warrior women in the world. She has such a positive attitude and has the most amazing Instagram account called Enjoying Holland. And it is the most incredible journey of how she is finding beauty in places where she didn't expect to find beauty in the midst of the hardest trial of her life. These are the kind of women that we are looking for to serve. We are looking for the women who are in the trenches of their life, and we want to be able to seek them out and really give them some kind of an uplifting space in their home. We are so excited that in September we get to serve Amber and her family. It is likely that Tim will no longer be with us at that juncture, but we are so excited that we will get to go into her home and be able to make over a space that will allow her to feel the peace and happiness that comes with knowing that she's going to be able to be with her husband again. So anyway, that's just kind of how I'm kicking it off. And then I'm going to be going after, I'm going to be asking for sponsorships on this one. Normally the retreats pay for the projects. I'm actually going to hit my social media community as well as my whole staff. We're all going to be hitting it hard, and we're going to be doing a fundraising event because a lot of people she has a huge following, and there are a lot of people that want to help. So I guess it's not really an offer from the stage. It would be an ask from the stage. It would be, not everybody is going to be able to come to our retreat. We so badly want to teach you power tools. We know that there is great power that comes when women combine together and they learn power tools, and then they turn around and serve other women in their community. But we want everyone to be involved. If they want to be able to help Amber and Tim, we really want everyone to have that opportunity. So if you are unable to come to our retreat and our workshop to help this sweet family, we are hoping that you will join us in donating to this amazing family to be able to make over spaces in their home that will give them this beautiful hug from heaven and allow them to know that they are loved. So we would ask that you would visit www.thesisterproject.us, go to the tab Collaborate and down to Donate, and donate generously for this amazing family. Thank you. So anyway, that's what it would be.
Oh, okay, my heart, like just when I'm tender, and then the second layer, and then I'm like, and then the third layer, and I'm like in tears, and like this woman, oh my gosh, beautifully done on the spot, Wendy Jones, so great. I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts right there because, oh my gosh, so good. The only thing I would suggest is you have me right here, and I'm already thinking, what can I do to help this woman? So right there, a thought is to say, we in September, we're so excited. We get to serve, like you said, this woman, and there are so many who want to help serve as well. We have 3 ways that you can serve. 1, and then pop them out on a slide. 1, you can attend a retreat, your best, most transformative. Attend a retreat, show a picture of the retreat people, and this is the things that they experience there. We teach them how to do power tools, and then they go in and they do the thing. The second way is if you can't be there for both, you could do whatever the second way is. Maybe they just come for the workshop or whatever, and learn how to do power tools so that you can look for someone, what's her name? Amber? I can't remember her name. Amber,
Mhm.
yeah. Look for an Amber in your neighborhood, and you could do this very same thing. The third way is if your heart yearns, that Anne Morrow Lindbergh quote where she says, I cannot attend to everyone that my heart yearns to. Say, if you are feeling this way, which is going to hear me up because that's exactly how I feel about this woman. Oh my gosh. If you yearn to help this woman and serve, but you know that you're not going to be able to do that, that's okay too. We're all in different spaces. You can actually donate and help be part of it. All amounts help and will make a difference for this family. Then you pop up a QR code or a text. Make it simple. Don't even say, go here, go here, go here, unless you pop up the website and you circle and show the tab. But I would say a QR code, take the time to make it. And that QR code, they can just put their phone up right there and it's already recorded on their phone. And then they can see the donation thing. Then talk for about 2 or 3 minutes in case people, there's gonna be people who are dying who are like, I am donating right this second. And they're not gonna listen to a thing you say because they're gonna be donating. So I would encourage you to do that and share. When we have done this, this is what your donations will do. In our last retreat, we had people donate. We were able to get bunk beds. We were able to get paint. We were able to get this. We were able to get this and then show a picture. Then all that talking gives people time to decide if they want to donate right there. I think to me, that is a great way to offer from stage. So beautiful. And piggybacked on that, to get the results that you were looking for, which is people want to help. How can I simply do that?
Okay, yeah, that was perfect because I think that's what people want to know is what is my money going to go towards? Like
Yeah.
it's not paying us. Like I can show them because that first project really was. I raised $6,500 in 4 weeks and we used every cent for we bought paintbrushes, paint, lumber. I would love to show, I even have a picture of the truck loaded before we went so they can see all of the wood and the paint and you can see everything. And then obviously I have to show a picture of the family because they're just so darn amazing. But
I saw that in my newsletter. Oh, it was so darling. My heart breaks. It's just tender and sweet and sad all at the same time. Yeah. I love that. Share that story, show that truckload, and then simply, you don't have to even explain. And we do this as women. I do this all the time where I'm like, you don't have to, you just say 100% of your donations goes to these people. That's it. That's all you have to say. And you say it just like that, strong, like a boss, and they will remember. Oh, okay. So good.
So my next thing, I have a couple of next things. My next thing is tomorrow, me and Laura, my partner, and Michelle, my project manager, we actually go to meet the family tomorrow before they head out. The parents are going on a vacation together next week for 5 days because he's deteriorating quickly. And so we get to go and meet them tomorrow. They are so excited that we're doing this. And so we get to go meet them. And so I have asked her for permission. And I think she feels good about it because she's telling her story on social media anyway. So I'm actually going to be doing stories tomorrow when we're there, showing the family and being like, look at who we're with. We love this family so much, and really just sharing their message and getting pictures of them. And then my guess is she'll then share it on her stories, which is going to be really good because she's really well followed and loved. And so anyway, we just feel so blessed that her friend Tatum nominated her because I had been following her already. I did not know she was in Arizona for some reason. And this friend reached out and said, I want my friend Amber. And I was like, I know who Amber is. I'm like, I follow her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to do a project for her. So it's just, and I love it because it's such a moving story, I can really go after people who aren't LDS. It's just like, this is a story that breaks your heart. It's a story that just rips your heart out.
And I love the thing that you're emphasizing, and I would encourage you to continue this, is the positivity of it. Because the heartbreak of it is already built into that. And I don't want to sound manipulative. That's not it. I'm saying because it's already part of the story, I love that you're emphasizing the positive. Let's give them this time together. Let's make their life easier. Let's be part of this joyful celebration of the time that they do have together. And that will keep the lightness and the joyful movement of the feel of it. That's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
And then I'm speaking at, my daughter has a surf camp this summer, and I reached out to the guy who's running it, and I was just like, hey, I feel like I should tell you this. Did I tell you that already?
No.
I'm going to be there all week. I'm driving her to California. I'm going to be staying in a beach house waiting for her to finish up the surf camp for the week. I'm like, just so you know, I speak to young women. I can talk about their purpose. And he was like, oh my gosh, we would love it. So I'm speaking to like 100 girls on the beach. And then my sister called me a few days ago. She's in her stake Young Women's presidency. And she called me on Sunday and said, we're sitting here meeting. She's like, we're going back and forth on who we could get to speak to our girls camp in August. I'm going to be up there the same week of their girls camp because her son is getting married. So I'm going up for my nephew's wedding. She's like, she goes, a few of my ladies that I serve with in this presidency follow you on social media, and they're like, we want Wendy Jones. And so she's like, so I am speaking at my sister's state girls camp in August. So anyway, I'm excited.
I love this. And I love, sweetie, I love that you went after it. You saw the surf camp, you said, I'm going to be there anyway. And you asked. This is so huge. Anytime we're somewhere, I know speakers do this all the time. If they're going to fly in somewhere, they're going to be on vacation somewhere. Now, of course, you have to be careful not to ruin family time with, okay, now I'm going to do all the speaking. But if you're gone for a week and then you're going to be there, and you could do a fireside or something like that, and you're for 1 hour, like, sweet. I love that you offered that you reached out. That is exactly what we wanted to have taught or incorporated into this 12 weeks. That whole feel of, I'm not shrinking and saying, well, if you ask me, okay, it's, hey, I can't wait to be an instrument for him. How can I do that best? And where can I do it? Love. So great. Right. Sweet Artist, you are up. So fantastic. And feel free to share in the chat anything that you want to share.
Okay, I want to go to surf camp. That sounds amazing. Except I know there's sharks in there, so I might have to just be on the beach. I want to do a reading beach camp, right? Like lay on the beach and just read. That's my kind of camp. But
we'll go to the gardens in the surrounding areas. I'm in.
Exactly. Okay, I love hearing your guys's keynotes. Like they're so amazing and so sweet and inspiring. So thank you for making my day start off right. I love it. So let me show with you, share my screen here. I can do it. I think it just says desktop there. Did it share it? No,
not yet.
I'm on my laptop and not my regular computer.
And just go down. It should have the share screen green button. Does it have it on there?
Yeah, and it wants me to do basic, advanced, desktop. I'm doing desktop, but open system preference. Now it's making me go into my systems. Okay. I might just have to show you off my phone if I can't do it.
And that's totally fine. I'm just looking on our settings, making sure that all participants can share. So we're good on our side.
I haven't done, and maybe it's just my laptop that's doing it. So I'm looking at the one that I sent you, Connie, and see if I can bring it up.
Okay, while she's doing that, I just have to say, Artist is so incredibly gracious. And not quite a Moroni and Pahoran experience. She sent me her one sheet, but when I pulled up my, on my phone, sometimes like there's been texts where things are like, all you see is the last thing. So I just saw a pretty picture of her and her long bio. And so I sent back this email saying, hey, just a few thoughts. We have a module on this. And if you want to add X, Y, and Z. Okay, she'd already sent the one before ahead of time that had all the pieces on there. But what did Artist say? She responded, thank you so much for your insights. I appreciate you sharing. I'm like, that is so Artist. Oh my gosh, you just taught me how to be a better person today. So anyway, go ahead.
I know you're busy, Connie, so I'm happy to go with the flow. So this might be kind of hard to see. Oh my gosh, it is a little hard to see. Darn it.
That's okay. Put your finger on it so it doesn't be so bright. Just, so it does the lighting so it's not so bright.
Maybe I'll turn down the lighting on it.
Yeah, that's better. Can you see the logos? They go right across her bottom color bar.
Yeah, so sorry I can't bring it up on my thing, but I basically have like, I have on here just how to get a hold of me, a brief introduction, just some of the places that I've done speaking before on, and then I have the quote from Connie and a little, I talk about generational gardening, blooming with generational gardening, healing through generational gardening, connecting through generational gardening, and joy through generational gardening. So very key on that. And then I kind of have a little quote on what generational gardening is, so they kind of understand that. So that's just my little speaker one sheet right there that I'm doing. Sorry, I can't show you on the computer. That would have been so much better and stuff. So, okay. And I was up late last night with my friend that's helping me with workshops. So it might have been, I might have messed up my computer a little bit. So I talk about generational gardening, as you ladies know, and there's 3 different areas that I focus on, which is the part of, the healing of it, the connection and joy. And so I wanted to share today a little bit of my keynote, kind of right in the middle. And that's where I do my soft sell as well and kind of put it in. But I'm just going to share with you a little bit about the connection with that. So I'm going to start a little bit in the middle of this, because I know I've shared with you guys the beginning quite a bit. So I thought the middle would be fun. So it goes like this. Think of a relationship that is challenging for you, one that you could use to strengthen and better it. Now consider what it would be that you wish you could do. Describe a word. I just want you to take a moment and think about what would be ideal in that relationship that's difficult. How could you better it? What are some words that you could actually make it feel a little bit stronger with? So as you're thinking about that relationship, and then I would just let them have a few moments of a time. Maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a connection with a spouse or a child that you want to have strengthened. So I'd let them think about that for a minute. And then what if connecting with nature through gardening could bring that connection and healing that you are searching for? I love this quote from Nicolette Sauter, and it says, gardening and children need the same things: patience, love, and someone who will never give up on them. I love that quote because it's very similar to relationships and making them stronger. And so this really gives us that insight that gardening can be that tool of getting that patience, that love, and having that feeling that never anyone gives up on us. Any relationship, whether it be a child, spouse, or a family member, or a friend, takes action to grow. The garden allows an environment and nurtures patience and love. Simply, you don't have to do a large garden to create this environment. You simply need something of it to connect with others. Let me give you an example here. I love snowdrops. Have you ever seen snowdrops? They are the tiniest flowers that bloom in early spring. When my grandmother passed away, my mother and I noticed that she had some snowdrops lined up along her driveway. We decided to dig up a few and replant them, each of us, in our own yards. In early springs, whoever saw grandmother's snowdrops would call each other and share the news. I often would call my mom and say, have your snowdrops come up yet? Mine just came up. And we would just smile and remember my grandmother through the snowdrops. When my mother passed away a year ago, after her funeral, I was driving home, and it was early February. And of course, the day was very long and emotionally exhausting. As I had tears in my eyes, I could remember about her and what she meant to me. And I had a thought that came in my mind. It said, go check the snowdrops. I thought, there's no way the snowdrops are in the front of my yard at this time of year. It's so early February and it's been very cold. But the prompting kept coming back to me as I was driving home. I thought, okay, maybe I'll go check the snowdrops. So before I even got in my house, I pulled in next to my driveway and climbed over and looked at the snowdrops. And I was like, I wonder if they're there. And I started moving the leaves. And sure enough, I saw these bright green little leaves coming up through the dirt, and it was the snowdrops. I knew that was a sweet little connection and sign from my mother, that she was still there. And through the power of gardening, I could still feel the connection to my mother and my grandmother still. And how wonderful that connection is. Connection can bloom through generational gardening. There is something very real and powerful through gardening, that we can connect with those that we love. This summer, I have some special events occurring. I'm doing some children's workshops and also adult workshops. They're going to be fabulous. And at the kids' camps, at the end of their workshops, we're actually going to have the parents come the last 15 minutes to see their dinosaur terrains and also their fairy gardens and share it with each other. So I would encourage you, if you'd like to, go on artisandco.com and you can see all the wonderful connections that are being made at Artists & Co. Now, and then I would move into the next one. So that's kind of where I'm at with that and just the connection and stuff and tying in with my workshop. So my next things that I'm doing is obviously the workshops. So that's what we're planning on this summer. Right now we have 3 available, 2 kids summer camps, 1 adult workshop in the evening. We're planning another workshop probably in July. And then we're also doing a back to school mommy and me tea party that we're hoping to do 1st of August. So I'm really focusing on those workshops, making sure they're fun and great. And then we're eventually also looking at doing a retreat in Kauai during the winter time. That's another thing. And another idea that I'm working on is doing a garden club that people can be a member for maybe 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. I'm still working out the fine tune, but every month they would receive a box with some fun gardening ideas. And then we'd either do a live Zoom or a pre-recording so that they can use that box and connect with those in their family and create something with gardening in their own homes. So it's kind of bringing some of that garden that we have in the backyard into their own homes and inspiring them to do their own things. So those are some things that we're working on for sure.
I love, and I know as you decide on these things that you're going to take it the one thing at a time. And I love that you're focusing on the workshops first. I love all of these things, like the garden club. I can just hear it, bringing the garden to you, right? And on that garden club, I would so encourage you to teach it live. It's like, don't miss this. Emily Bell Freeman and David Butler, they could just have people go watch their videos that they've done this for years, but they do it live every year and they add new or whatever. So it keeps it a connection thing. So very good. I love, put in the comments anything you want to share about what you loved about what artists did. I love when you shared that, think of the connection that you want. And I love that you started with the ideal life. What is that connection you want? One thing I would just add in is some kind of a stat that makes it urgent. Do you know that families are in crisis? Out of the last 150 years, family connection is at its all-time lowest or whatever. And just do a stat to really nail the urgency of connection. It's not just kind of a nice thing. It's critical that we actually create connection. And then one other thought, I love how you said gardening can be a surprising tool. I would flip that and make it a question. What is a number one tool? I found a number one tool to help create connection that may surprise you. And just kind of like what Ashley did and Wendy Nelson does, this tool, and then tell the outcomes, the benefits. It can connect families. It keeps families 39% more, whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And then make the case for it just with a couple of little things. And then say, this tool is generational gardening, healing our families through it. And we can heal our families through it. So I love that. And then if you just want to do one sentence to transition this in, I've seen this in my own life, because you said, I had an experience. I love when we kind of transition people and they know, oh, you've seen this in your own life. I want to hear about what that is. You don't have to, but I love it. I loved how many times that resonant moment, how many times I felt like smiling. Like I just found myself smiling without even trying to or controlling it. I just felt my face so happy when you're talking about the snowdrops. And then when you added those details, you are a master storyteller. When you say climbing over and looking for those little new green leaves. Oh, it made me feel such a joy and a smile at your feeling that prompting. And then you did something about it and you got the payoff. That was so good. And then I love through the power of gardening, your relationships can bloom. It's a real and powerful tool. I love that. All that gardening verbiage and stuff just went, it just was so good. And then I would encourage you just one CTA, one call to action. So we have these workshops this year. We have some for kids and adults. You get to create this, you get to have that. Just a very quick outcome thing they're going to create. When you said the dinosaur thing, that's a great specificity. And then when you said, and parents even get to be a part of the kids camp, the last little bit. So it just helps them. Don't say too many specifics on that because then people go, oh, I can't come for the last 15 minutes already in their mind. So just, and the parents get to be involved by choice for a few minutes to come in. So I love that. And then if you have a QR code somewhere where they can just click on and see the registration. And then again, you can always say, and if you have any questions, go to my website or ask me afterwards. And I would encourage you to name the workshops. You can say Artists and Co workshops or Artists and Co Get in the Garden workshops or something. Some, it's a name. It says something, a nomer, but some kind of a name on it so that people are like, oh, it's Get in the Garden workshop, or it's whatever, in the dirt workshop, whatever, then they'll remember that name. So anyway, just a couple of thoughts, takeaways if you want them or not, but loved your story. The snowdrops is so good. And I felt the connection with what you were saying to how gardening can actually happen and make it simple. So good. Anyone else? I know people are like, I'm still trying to go with my left toe. And Amanda,
Are we saying what we loved? Sorry.
yes, if you just have one quick thing and then we're going to wrap up because we have like 3 minutes.
Yes, I loved the story. And when she shared, like, it was a really light bulb moment for me when she shared the story and where she said she connected through her mom through gardening, even after she was passed away. And that was like, wow. And it made me think, I have connected with my grandpa who had a yellow rose bush. And like, I just didn't ever make that connection. Like, oh my gosh, you can connect to others through gardening. That was a light bulb moment for me. So I really love that you brought that in.
Love. So good. I want you ladies to see how well you have been able to speak on the fly and have it be a clear, concise, leads you to a certain thing, 5 minutes even. You know that you can stand and deliver or sit and deliver if you're in a podcast interview, if you're doing studio chatter. If someone says, oh, well, what do you, or, oh, tell us a thing. You can draw from this experience now. You know you can do in 5 minutes, you can share a story or a principle and then do an offer or lead them to something. That's a hugely important skill. I am so proud of every one of you. So proud of you. I have to do this. I'm so sorry. I know it's a little bit annoying, but we're just going to do it one last time because you guys have done a beautiful job. Move that metaphorically. Move it to the left. Give yourself some love. Oh, get those hands up there. I just want you to know how proud I am of each one of you. And we'll be getting your certificate in now. And you will be able to go forward as you desire from here. Just know, now that you have certified in this track, and I went through all of your speaking checklists, and I have everything checked off for each one of you. If there's something that is missing that for some reason I think was checked off and it wasn't, you let me know. But everything on that checklist, I won't take time. I was going to take time to go through the checklist and just see. I will just share a screen and just show you quickly what it is that you have accomplished because it's been pretty darn amazing. But I do want you to know that from here, because you have done this, hang on, just because you have done, where did I put the speaker checklist? Okay, I had it all ready and waiting for me. There it is. Because you have done this 12-week certification, you can come back and you can do anything you want with this speaker time. You can come back anytime into office hours. You can use the modules anytime. Say you're working on a keynote and you need help with something, come back into office hours. You can even do a 20-minute coaching call, a deep dive, whatever you need to keep moving forward in the speaking, feel free. If you want to switch a track and you're like, now I want to do speaking and you've got events, you've got retreats, you've got your book, you've got whatever it is, that the thing that you're leading them to, if you need more help with that, then you can check the other tracks and see if there's something that's a better fit for you to do the speaking and. If not, just feel free to make an appointment with me and we can really nail down how you need to go about planning that event or how you need to make sure that you got the offer from stage for that specific thing, whatever it is that you need. But I want you to look at the speaking checklist and see what you have accomplished. The speaking plan, the Keystone keynote, your hook, your points, your phrases, your stories, your stats. You did your peer review and you filmed your keynote, the 5 P's of performance. You learned how to do tech, timing, and slides, to do a really good speaker bio and a really good speaker one sheet, to create a CRM, to get the gigs and know how, and to look for those places and opportunities like a surf camp, to be able to be bold and make that happen. A speaking challenge and you took it, to speak on the spot with TV and interviews, to be able to concise like you did today, make it concise in a 5-minute share and then an offer, and then your offer from stage. And then now, and we did our interviews before, and now you have your next step that you're going to take. You did it. Beautiful. How do you feel? Any words, anything that you just want to share as one thing that you're like, this is my favorite thing that I learned or became in this speaking 12 weeks, just super fast.
This is my favorite thing that I've learned in DTLC, period.
It has been one of my favorite things to do. I had no idea how much I would love this track, and I love it. I've loved working with you women. You're just stellar in every way. And you are DTL approved. Once we get this on the website, we're getting someone to do the landing page for it, but we'll have your pictures up there so you are DTL certified. We can recommend you for speaking. Artists?
I have just loved being in the speaking track with all these amazing women and learning from them and learning together and bouncing off ideas. And I mean, we all do it unique. We all do it our own way, but I still learn and from each of you. So that to me has just been so worth it in this journey. So thank you all for sharing and being open, because I do think in this environment, you have to be raw and you have to be open and you have to be willing to share. And I just have loved everything I've learned from each one of you. So thank you.
Love. Amen. Amen to both of what you guys have said. Ashley, anything from you? I don't know if you're in the midst of kids.
Yes, no, I was just telling my husband this morning, I'm like, I am really proud of myself. And like, I feel like it's really hard to say that out loud and to like, because you don't want to come across prideful, you know, or anything. But I was like, you know what? I think that I just want to celebrate this. I really do. I think I want to go have like a special dinner and celebrate this, because this, for me, I'm getting emotional, has been over a decade-long goal to get to this point. So I'm just so happy that I'm here. So that's my thoughts.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, amen. And that's why we are sending you guys a gift card. We hope that you will do something significant with that gift card. Maybe you'll get a beautiful painting or a picture you wanted, or maybe one of those willow statues that's like, I'm doing, or maybe it's something that you've just would signify every time you look at it. We kept thinking maybe we should send them this or send them this, but it's so personal to everybody. So we thought maybe you could choose something and have your husbands take you to dinner, but choose something that signifies, I did this. This is a huge accomplishment, and you did it in such record time, being Mom Ann's. I just want you to celebrate and understand this is huge. And we also wondered about, we were going to send it in a frame, and then everyone's got different, you know, like decorations in their house and stuff like that. So that's why we like, let's just put it all on a gift card, and then you can choose what you want and how you want to go about it. But we want you to frame it. We want you to put it somewhere. I'm going to be putting something in here because I want to make sure I can show to people, hey, I'm certified in this too. I am a certified trainer in this. Like, this is for real. And I know from the way that you guys present, you rock it. You have that feeling, you have that force, you have that thing about you. When you present, you are a DTL presenter. You have the thing. So that is not a small thing, just so you know. Super proud of each one of you, and I invite you, do the celebration. Celebrate today, celebrate again when you get your certificate and your gift card. Make sure that you validate for yourself and your family. Say, you know what, this isn't a prideful brag. This is a celebration. Every time I turned in a book, I would take my family to dinner. I'd be like, this is huge. I just turned in a book to my publisher. This is huge. We're going to dinner. Mom's not cooking. That's what we did. So that is my invitation to you. I love each one of you. Just keep me posted if you decide you're going to do a different track. Meanwhile, because we want everybody to be in a space. And we'll talk more about that today in DTLC. You get to choose if you want to do maintenance track or if you're going to be like, I'm going to go into a different track. So just be thinking, because we want to make sure everybody's in a space, even if it's a holding space. That's totally great. All right. Love you, ladies. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege and a joy to work with you. You are rocking it. You are stellar DTL speakers. Mwah. Love you.